It's big, it's bad, and it's finally here. I am of course referring to this Litra Studio. This is a hybrid crossover LED video light. It's the newest addition in the Litra light collection. This light right here is a feat in cinelight technology, and it's disrupting everything that we thought we knew and wanted about pro-level production video lights. Litra Studio is going to be the topic of today's discussion. In this video, I'm going to address all the ins and outs of this light in detail, and I'm also going to show you some of its capabilities, hopefully most of its capabilities. So, won't you please stay tuned? But first, a quick disclaimer. In today's video, I'll be discussing Litra's professional production lights in a positive manner. Is this a Litra ad or just another YouTube video? I don't know anymore. Thus, it's probably best that you decide that for yourself. I am not being paid by Litra to make this video, and as with all my videos, I retain all editorial rights to my content. Over the last couple years, I've reviewed just about every product that Litra makes on this channel. I have videos for Litra Torch, Litra Torch 2.0, Litra Pro, as well as Litra's Drone Edition lights. And after extensive testing and use, I've fallen in love with all of these products. I actually use all these products on a daily basis, and I can no longer deny that I'm a biased Litra mega fan. So if you're looking for an impartial light review, this probably ain't it. In the event that you choose to buy one or more Litra products using my affiliate links in the video description below, you'll save money on your order and I'll earn a small commission. I see this as a win all around. Well, bam, I fulfilled my obligations. Now let's jump into the video and talk about the Litra Studio. So when you buy a Litra Studio, it's gonna look like this. Nice packaging, nice display. And when you open it up, you're gonna get some instruction manuals in different languages. Like most people, we're gonna set those aside and not read them until something goes wrong. And we're also going to get rid of the box to give us a little bit more space to work. Just like that. So the first thing that you'll notice is that the entire setup comes in a nice soft case. This is a soft shell carry case. And inside this case, you're going to find all sorts of goodies. Looks like there's some extra storage space up here where you can put cords. There's more partitions, so you can set this case up however you see fit. And then when we actually get to the guts, you're going to get one Litra Studio. This is a big beefy light. Inside there's a removable, rechargeable, and swappable battery. That's pretty cool. You also get a diffuser. This is a silicone diffuser. It seems to be a bigger version of your typical diffusers that come with other Litra products. So that's nice. You also get some foreign power adapters. A nice solid handle. And a fancy fast charger. This one's made by Dell. And it looks like it's the real deal. Look at this thing. So you have a nice beefy fast charger. I assume you get that fast charger because this is a big battery. And it says that this is a lithium ion battery, 9,000 milliamp hours. That's a lot of juice. So this puppy, it fits right in. Like I said, it's rechargeable, it's swappable. And that's pretty self-explanatory, right? So then you have a handle. The handle has a screw mount on one end. It goes into the 1/4-20 screw hole on the bottom of the light itself. And then the handle also has another 1/4-20 screw mount so that you can presumably mount the whole thing onto a tripod or a light stand if you want. And I suppose they probably include a handle because all high-end production lights that crank out a lot of light, a lot of power, they tend to heat up, and this handle will save your hands from being scalded. Check this thing out. With the handle attached, it kind of looks like Thor's hammer. So this entire package, it sells for 650 bucks, which is by no means cheap. In fact, this is actually the most expensive light in the LitraLight arsenal. And while the $650 price tag might seem heavy for the consumer, when you kind of consider it within the cinelight space, that is production level, Hollywood level lights, this price tag is actually incredibly low. So with the release of this Litra Studio, Litra is in direct competition with brands such as Airy, Light Panel, companies like that. And those companies typically sell lights in the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, even $6,000 range. So yes, 650 bucks is not going to be affordable for everybody, but if you're in video production, if you're a photographer and you're looking for a pro level cine light, this is going to be a lot cheaper than spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on one of those lights. So as far as build quality is concerned, this thing is rock solid. It's got that same industrial metal construction. I believe it's aluminum. And this thing just feels like it's not going to break anything if you drop it a couple times. Now at 650 bucks, you're probably not going to want to be dropping these things. That being said, if you do drop it, because accidents do happen, you're probably not going to damage anything. So that's, the build quality is rock solid. The size of this light is roughly 5.5 inches this way, it's 4 inches that way, and it's about 2 inches thick. And this light weighs about 34 ounces or 2 pounds. Now let's see if we can quickly compare this to other Litra lights. So look at this. We got the whole family right here. So this is the Litra Torch 2.0. Same metal construction, super duper lightweight. Then we have the Litra Pro. Like I said, I already have videos for all of these lights, so I'm not going to digress too much. If you want to see those videos, I'm going to link to them below. And then of course you have the new Litra Studio, and it's really interesting to point out that they all seem to be using similar style LED bulbs. Like this is a bigger version of this, and that appears to be just a massive version of this. So how cool is that? Okay, other features of this light include a standard 1/4-20 tripod mount. This again can be used on a tripod. You can throw it on a hot shoe, like on a ball head. So you can stick it on your video camera if you want, just straight up like that. We already mentioned that it comes with a handle. You can throw the handle in there. So that's nice. The rechargeable battery. Crazy feature of this thing is that you can actually charge other devices off this thing. So if you have a couple of these sitting around and your cell phone dies, or perhaps you need to charge another video light, another smaller Litra light, you can do that from within the battery of the Litra Studio. Just like so. Well, bam. So now this thing is actually charging. So that's kind of like a super sweet feature, because I'm constantly running out of juice for stuff, So if you have a light that also doubles up as a charger, that's a really cool feature. It's worth mentioning that this battery is custom made by Litra. As I understand it, Litra couldn't find an exact battery to fit in their Litra light, so they just went ahead and made their own. And as I already mentioned, this is a lithium-ion battery at 9,000 milliamp hours, so it can store a lot of juice. And there's a nice little display on the battery which shows you how much juice is left in it. So that's kind of cool. Let's just go ahead and plop this battery back in so that we can show you other features. The doors on this light are also very durable. They feel durable. You have to put a little force in them to close them. I suppose that's a really good thing, because believe it or not, this entire thing is waterproof. You can submerge this light to 10 meters or 30 feet. So definitely before you do that, make sure that all the doors click closed, because you don't want a $650 paperweight if you damage this light. So on the back of this light, you also see a OLED display. Come on, turn on. There we go. And that's how you control the Litra light. There's 4 buttons. There's a home button, a back button, and we're gonna get into all of that. So, whee! How fun is that? As for some of the other features of this light, on the lens of the Litra Studio, you're gonna see 108 bright LEDs. All of these bulbs together, they pump out an amazing 3000 lumens of consistent flicker-free light. And the light that comes out of this thing is free from any center hotspots. So it's nice, even light. I'm not actually sure if this is gonna be too bright to appear on camera, so if it is, bear with me. So that's what the LEDs look like. Damn, that's bright. It's hard to look at. And everything can be adjusted. And we're gonna talk about this more and more. So these same LEDs can also flash at 6000 lumens. So this thing can actually double up as a camera flash. And I'll discuss this more in depth a little bit later. This light is bicolor. It has a temperature range between 2000 Kelvin. Let's go all the way down. So 2000 kind of looks like that. It's nice, warm, kind of firelight. And it can go all the way up to 10,000 Kelvin, which is kind of ice cold, super bright light, kind of more outdoor light. And all of this can be adjusted in CCT mode, which is correlated color temperature mode. So it's kind of your typical Kelvin scale between 2000 and 10,000. I think if I intentionally set the brightness kind of low, I'd say 20%, it's not gonna mess with my camera too much. It's not gonna mess with exposure. So please keep in mind as I'm doing demonstrations, this is not full brightness. It's just for camera purposes. So again, this light ranges from 2000 all the way up to 10,000. So it gives you nice options for matching color. Furthermore, there's also a green shift knob, which allows you to adjust and fine-tune your colors a little bit better. And this green shift knob is also especially helpful for those people that are working with green screens or blue screens, because they can match color more accurately. Additionally, the brightness can be adjusted in increments of 1 from 0 to 100. So whereas the Litra Pro, you could go from 0 to 100 in increments of 5, 10, 15, 20. On the Litra Studio, you can make micro adjustments. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Litra Studio also has a few different color modes, RGBWW being one of them. And as I understand it, this gives the user full control not just over your red, green, and blue channels, but it also allows you to fine-tune the intensity and brightness of white light, as well as gives you the ability to mix in cooler or warmer temperatures. So if you get into RGBWW mode, not only can you tweak with kind of the red, green, and blue channels, you know, there's green, there's blue, you can go super blue, but you can then also go over to the 2 white channels. The first W, the first white, is brightness. How bright do you want the white light coming out of this thing? And then the second W in RGBWW is cool or warm white light. So whereas some lights just allow you to tweak with the brightness of the white light, the Litra Studio gives you so many more options, because now you can adjust the color temperature of that white light. And all of this is to say that this gives you literally millions of different color choices. There's also another mode within Litra Studio. It's called HSI, and HSI stands for Hue, Saturation, and Intensity. And this gives you further control over your color choices, and it pairs seamlessly with the Litra app. You basically just get a color wheel and you're able to custom select different light temperatures, hues, intensities, that kind of thing. Last but not least, this light has a CRI of 97. CRI, of course, stands for Color Rendering Index. This is a scale from 0 to 100%, which measures how color accurate a light source is. And the higher the CRI, the better quality your light. It represents colors more accurately. So traditionally, anything that's over 85 CRI is typically considered a good thing. And remember that the Litra Studio has a CRI of 97, which is totally awesome, and it's above average. It's like an A+. A+. It's very good is what I'm trying to say. For variety's sake, let's go ahead and throw on this silicone diffuser. Like all Litra diffusers, it's very easy to apply. You just literally plop it on your light. I love these Litra diffusers. They're super simple, easy to work with. They're very compact. You can kind of crunch them up, throw them wherever you need to throw them, and they also keep their shape really well. So perfect for travel. You know, you don't need to worry about damaging these things. In fact, sometimes I actually use these to stuff into places that, you know, against stuff that's fragile, to kind of protect it better. And so it's a nice little protection in your travel case, in your camera bag. So when you actually turn on the Litra Studio, you'll notice that it outputs a powerful 50-degree angle beam of light. So it casts a very nice wide beam. And to say that this light is adjustable is a huge understatement. As previously mentioned, there are innumerable color combinations and levels of brightness to choose from. And when you pair those combinations with the ability to literally take this light anywhere, whether that be on your camera or maybe on a DJI Ronin pointed directly where your camera's looking, whether you put it on a handle or a production light stand, when you pair its adjustability with usability, the practicality of the Litra Studio is tremendous. Should you decide to upgrade to the additional light modifier kit, it's an accessory that you can purchase from Litra, you're gonna have even more crazy options. So the light modifier kit comes with a softbox as well as a frame that holds the rest of the goodness. Then you also get a honeycomb. The honeycomb is made out of some sort of metal, so it's durable. And, actually probably before the and, let's show you what that looks like. You know, so that's a nice interview light right there. Beautiful. So in addition to the honeycomb, you can also get some barn doors, which look like that. And all of this will give you even more control over your light. So not only can you control the light from the back of this light, but if you get this accessory, you have even more options. Whether you choose to accessorize or not, really doesn't matter. Either way, you're guaranteed a brilliant, beautiful stream of light that's free from any center hotspots. There's no flicker in the light. And so this means that if you are in a situation where you need to capture your light on screen, there's gonna be no funny business. No flicker, no nothing. Wouldn't it be funny if, as I was saying that, these lights were flickering on camera? Let's talk about battery life, shall we? So I put the Litra Studio through the same rigorous battery tests as I did with the Litra Pro as well as the Litra torches. This is to say that I ran the light on low, medium, and high numerous times. And so my findings for the Litra Studio are as follows. On high at 100%, the Litra Studio runs continuously for about 42 minutes. On medium at 50%, I was consistently getting an hour and 30 minutes plus. So sometimes this was a little bit more, sometimes a little less, but roughly an hour and 30 minutes. And on low at 10%, I didn't go all the way low to 1%. I went to 10. I was getting about 4 hours of runtime. Sometimes it was a little bit less, sometimes it was a little bit more, but it was roughly 4 hours. A little important safety note here that's worth mentioning. Most, if not all, high-end industry standard production lights, when they're run at high output for extended durations of time, they tend to get warm. And the Litra Studio is no exception. In my battery test, when I was continuously running this light above 80% for long periods of time, I noticed that the light heated up. It got warm. Not warm like boiling, like you couldn't even touch it, but warm enough that just for the sake of safety, you don't want to be like turning this light on and setting it on a pile of tissues or, you know, something that might get damaged by heat. So just be advised that that happens. Fun little side note, my cat really enjoyed the heat that came off the light. You like that? It does produce a little heat, doesn't it? Cats love heat. Should you need more juice to power your LitraStudio, this can always be accomplished by running it from wall power using the provided charger. So you can plug one end into the USB-C port on the back of the light, and then you simply plug this end into an outlet, whether that be an external battery or, you know, your house outlet. And now you can run the LitraStudio indefinitely and not worry about the battery dying. And if you work in more of a professional studio setting, Litra also makes this DMX adapter. This is an additional accessory that you have to purchase, and it's called the DMX Dongle. That's kind of a funny name, right? You DMX dongle. So this DMX controller basically turns the USB-C port into DMX. And so this gives you the ability to continuously power your light with those controls. And it also gives you the ability to daisy chain numerous LitraStudios together using these controllers, and then you can control them as you see fit in the studio. So just be advised that that is always an option. Last but not least, you can buy additional batteries. So if you run out of juice and maybe you're on a remote video shoot and you don't have access to a big power source, you can always get a few more of these 9,000 milliamp hour batteries and just swap them out as necessary. And that's a really handy feature to have. In addition to producing a gorgeous stream of steady light, LitraStudio has a bunch of other top-notch features built in. For example, if you purchase the accessory flash sync cord, this is a proprietary cord that Litra sells, and it's not that expensive either. I think it's like 11 or 15 bucks or something like that. You can actually turn your video light into an external camera flash. Yes, you just heard what I said. This video light can actually moonlight as a camera flash. And so in order to do that, you're going to get this flash sync cord, and you're going to plug in one end to your camera of choice, like so. Make sure it's a nice, secure connection. Then you're going to plug your other end into the USB-C port on the back of the LitraStudio. Of course, you're going to power on your light, because it can't work if there's no power to it. Once plugged in and everything's been powered on, you're going to press and hold the center dial until a little F icon shows up on the display. That F icon tells you that flash mode has been activated. And so then you power on your camera, and when you press the shutter release button, you get a nice bright external flash. To get out of flash mode, you do the same thing as to get in. So you press and hold that center dial, and when the F icon disappears, you're out of flash mode. Now the flash that comes out is about 6,000 lumens in brightness, so that's quite bright. You probably don't want to look directly into it. Now because this is LitraStudio that we're talking about and everything is super duper adjustable, you can also set what color your flash flashes at. So now I'm in RGBWW mode, and actually I can tinker with the color of flash that comes out of my camera. You know, I can go down to the green channel, adjust that. Look at this thing. You know, again, there's millions of different color combinations that you can play around with. I'm not totally sure how this flash feature stacks up against expensive dedicated camera flashes, as I'm mostly a videographer who occasionally takes photos. That being said, having added a LitraStudio to my camera bag, it's really nice knowing that I have the option. You know, I have a video light that can also double up as a flash. Are you kidding me? That's incredible. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, On this channel, I often go off on rants and raves about how much I love multifaceted items. And this is kind of the textbook example of what I mean. You have one item that does multiple things. That means you have to carry less items. There's less things to worry about. And that is an incredible benefit to me. You know, this is something that I treasure when an item can do multiple things. So Litra, if you're listening, way to go. You smashed it out of the ballpark on that. Another very cool feature that's built into the Litra Studio is called Overdrive Mode. And Overdrive Mode essentially makes your Litra Studio extra bright for short bursts of time, 300 seconds or 5 minutes. And this feature is very helpful at times when you need to quickly blast your scene or subject with bright light. And so to trigger Overdrive Mode, all you have to do is press and hold the left select dial on your unit, and bam, a little O appears. Your light obviously gets brighter. That's how you know it's engaged. And you're also going to see a countdown timer in seconds on the back of the OLED display. So now your light is extra bright. You're shining it where you need to go. If you want to disengage Overdrive Mode, you either let the counter run out, or you can press and hold the left select dial and it'll disengage. And here we go again. I'm sorry if the camera doesn't pick it up. I'm going to attempt to do this anyway. So that's the light at 35%. And if I click and hold the select button, boom, it's just cranking out as much light as it possibly can. And then I click and hold the select mode again, and Overdrive Mode is off. Moving right along, Litra Studio also comes with some other crazy cool presets. And one of these presets is called Gel Mode. And Gel Mode is exactly what it sounds like. It's a grouping of color presets that are meant to replicate industry standard cine gels. Gone are the days of messing around with colorful plastic filters or having to attach them to your light in flimsy ways. Now all you have to do to apply a color cast is simply press a few buttons, turn a few dials in your Litra Studio, and you have a wide array of gel effects at your disposal. Another mode worth mentioning is called Effects. And so you get into it again through the OLED display, lighting effects. And this essentially gives you access to 15 or so high quality light effects. So you can use these effects to spice up your productions without having to increase your budget or do anything too crazy. And you have effects like police. So you can literally set this thing to blink like a police light. You know, there's a blue police light. There's red and blue. So you know, when you shine this through a window, it can look like the cops are at your house and you're gonna get arrested. Let's see, what else do we have? We have fire. Check it out. So you can click on fire, and now you can replicate an actual campfire or a fireplace. So it's a nice, even flickering light that resembles a fire. To give you a better look at what these effects look like, let's quickly take a moment and just do a little cutaway. Ready? So all the effects that I've mentioned thus far can be adjusted on the back of your light unit itself. You can navigate all the menus using the buttons and the turn dials. You can also run this light from a remote app. So you can download an app for free on your phone and control the light that way. And so this seems like a great segue to talk about the app itself. And so let's do that now. So the Litra app is a very beautiful thing. It gives users the ability to remotely control and or fine-tune one or more lights simultaneously from your cell phone. And this feature has many practical applications. For example, one-man band creators, just like me, can use this function to adjust production lighting from wherever is most convenient. Thus, this feature can eliminate the need for additional production assistance, which is often either hard to come by or outside of my production budget. In other words, this gives me the ability to tweak with my light settings without having to actually physically stand up, move behind the light, and make the adjustments I need. Instead, I can fine-tune light brightness, hue, saturation from my phone, thus preserving my camera settings, namely the focus, and saving myself oodles of time and headache. This app also gives me easy access to all the different color modes, CCT, HSI, RGBWW, gels, effects, etc., etc. Again, all of these modes and settings can be accessed within the built-in display and turn dials on the backside of your Litra Studio. This means that you don't have to use the app if you don't want to. That said, it's much more convenient to fine-tune certain modes and settings within the cell phone app versus the manual dials. To summarize the Litra Studio concisely, this light has so many different features and applications, it might initially make your head spin. However, once you spend some time learning about the light, maybe do something crazy like actually read the instructions, you'll find that you discovered a chest full of gold, a treasure. At that point, this Litra Studio will turn into one of your most prized possessions. You're not going to be able to live without it. You'll find that it's multifaceted and damn near perfect. And there's literally nothing else like this on the market today. You know, this is a hybrid crossover light that's quickly encroaching in a space in the industry where it's competing against much more expensive lights. It's probably pissing those companies off actually because of what it's capable of. And at a price point that's much less than the airy lights, the light panel lights, all those lights that I mentioned at the beginning. Furthermore, it's compact, it's durable, you can go scuba diving with this thing. I mean, do I need to say more? Probably not. Last but not least, every show that Litra attends, every tech show and video show where they present this light, they basically win some sort of award or at least honorable mention. So I'm not the only one that is ranting and raving about this light by any means. Before I sign off, I want to pose one more somewhat rhetorical question, and that question is, how many other production lights can do this? Check it out.